Hey, what is happening, you deflated Delphox? So Obsidian Flames is coming out in about a week, and I've already been doing a little bit of cooking over on the live stream, twitch.tv/AzulGG, link in the description, of course, and I stream every day except Mondays and any days that I'm traveling or competing in major tournaments. And I've been cooking up Vespiquen, a little bit of Toadscrew, a little bit of Charizard. Today we're going to be taking a look at Vespiquen. Before we jump into it, though, Obsidian Flames is available for pre-order over at fullgripgames.com, so be sure to go check them out over there if you need any sealed Obsidian Flames products. Of course, there will be a link in the description, so check them out over there. And let's go ahead and let's jump in and take a look at this Vespiquen list, and I'll break it all down for you. So, of course, like I said, Vespiquen, the main attacker. So I'll start with that, so you guys know what is going on here. Vespiquen has 270 HP. Its first attack for 1 grass energy is pretty irrelevant. It does heals 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. And then the second attack, this is the big attack, what makes the difference in this deck, of course. The main attacker, pretty much only attacker in the deck as well. We do 200 damage. And then we put 30 damage counters on each of our opponent's bench Pokemon that have any damage counters on them. So main attacker, basically only attacker in the deck, is the Vespiquen EX. We got 4 combi in here as well. We're using the Honey Courier combi, 50 HP, 1 retreat cost. And then for a grass energy, search your deck for an item card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. So a pretty good attack there on the Combi. For all the other new cards in the deck, the only other new card in the deck, I should say, is the Cleffa. This Cleffa, I think, is super powerful in decks like this, where you don't really have another attacker to use turn 1, and you're going to leave some fairly low HP Pokemon in your active anyways, so you may as well leave a low HP in your active that also does something, and Cleffa draws cards. More cards is always better, and also, if it doesn't get KO'd, it has free retreat cost, so we can pivot it into something else on our following turn. So Cleffa, 30 HP, it's got the attack, draw until you have 7 cards in your hand, so play down to like a 2-3 card hand, draw 4-5 cards. That's pretty good to me. A lot of value. And like I said, we're leaving a pretty low HP Pokemon in our active anyways. We're mostly only using the Cleffa on the first turn going second. But even on our second turn going first, if we don't get like a turn 2 Vespiquen attack off, we may as well use Cleffa to get some more cards to help ourselves set up closer to that Vespiquen EX. And the way we are setting up the Vespiquen EX is, of course, with the Cherrim. The Cherrim with the Spring Bloom attaches grass energy from our hand to our Pokemon that don't have rule boxes. Now, Vespiquen EX does have a rule box, but Combi does not. So we can load up a bunch of energy on our Combi, and then evolve it into the Vespiquen EX, and then get attacking with it, even though it costs 3 grass energy to attack with. The Cherrim can get us there. Now, it does do 200 damage to our opponent's active Pokemon, and then we do 30 for our opponent's bench Pokemon that have damage. And we do have the Alakazam, so once we hit a Pokemon in play and build up some damage there, we can move it around, and then use that damage we've moved around to then spread more damage on our opponent's other Pokemon. But we can get a little bit more aggressive with the Hawluchas. 2 Hawluchas in here, because prizing Hawlucha would be a little bit of a drag. I do play the Heavy Ball, but I think it would be nice to have the more immediate access to it, because it is pretty important if we're trying to pull like a turn 2 Vespiquen attack. So we have the Hawluchas in here. With that flying entry ability, when it comes to our hand to the bench, we can put 2 damage counters on 2 of our opponent's bench Pokemon. Like I said, I play 2 of them. You don't really need 2 of them, probably. 1 is probably going to be enough, but I play 2 of them because I don't want to prize the thing. Prizing the thing would not be great. We got the Manaphy in here to protect our bench from Greninja, whether that be the Lost Box matchup or probably the one that's going to be a little bit more relevant, because Lost Box sounds like it's probably going to be a tough matchup. Actually, I'm not sure about that, though. Once we set up, if we can set up a Vespiquen pretty aggressively and start attacking with it, we're going to be able to start to pick apart our bench pretty aggressively with the attack once we get the Hawlucha ping off. And even though a lot of our Pokemon have very low HP, we do play a decent amount of hand disruption in the 4 Iono, and we're going to be drawing multiple prize turns with our attack. There's nothing really in Lost Box that can one-hit KO Vespiquen. To be honest, I could see the Lost Box matchup actually being okay. But having played 0 games with the deck, especially in that matchup, I have no clue, to be honest. But Manaphy protects our bench from Greninja. We don't want to get our Cherubies knocked out, or Hawluchas, or Combis. We have a lot of low HP Pokemon that Greninja could take really big advantage of. So we got the Manaphy in here for that. For the draw supporters, pretty simple here. 4 Iono, 4 Research, 3 Bosses Orders. I find all the decks that I've made so far in this format have basically the exact same draw supporter lineup here. Iono, Research, Boss, 4-3 right there. For the Pokemon Search cards, we got the 4 Level Ball, because almost everything in this deck can be found with Level Ball besides the Radiant Alakazam, which we don't need immediately or very aggressively. And the Vespiquen EX, of course, has 270 HP. Thankfully, I wouldn't want this thing to have 90 HP. That'd be terrible. 4 Nest Ball, of course, as well. Gotta aggressively find a basic one. I don't have the Battle VIP passes in here currently, but I could definitely see them needing to be an inclusion. I just don't like playing Battle VIP pass, so I like to prefer testing decks initially without it to see if they operate fine without it. And if I feel like I am missing a little bit more of that aggressive Pokemon search, of course they will eventually make their way into the deck, but I like to start without it first because I don't like playing them if I can avoid them. 3 Pokegears. We're not playing any draw support Pokemon besides the Cleffa, so just more outs to the good draw supporters. We could play some different draw supporters in place of the Pokegears as well, if we felt like some of the utility draw supporters would offer us a little bit more to work with. Or I could even see including something like a Luminion into this deck, maybe a Squawkabilly for some more aggressive draw power in the early game. Wouldn't be against that as well. And the Pokegears are kind of the flex spots in the deck as well. So if you're looking to try out anything different when the set drops and you put this list together, you want to try anything different, add some new stuff to the deck, I think the Pokegears or maybe a couple of the energies could be cut for some different stuff. I do play a very heavy energy count, but Vespiquen does require 3 grass energy to pull off the attack, so we need a lot of energy to actually attack with the Vespiquen. So yeah, Pokegears, definitely a little flexible. Only 2 Ultra Ball in here. I do play 4 Vespiquen EX. I'm not a big fan of Ultra Ball in general. I just don't like playing the card when I can. But once again, another card I want to try and avoid playing whenever I can avoid playing it. So only 2 Ultra Ball in here for right now, but I could definitely see us wanting to or needing to increase the count of it because it is such a powerful card. Even if we have to discard 2 cards, searching our deck for any Pokemon is really, really good. So I can see us at least cutting maybe one of the Vespiquen EX, maybe a Pokegear, go up to the 4 Ultra Ball, which is a little bit more of a staple standard count because the deck card is so good. But I just figured with so many of our Pokemon being able to be found by Level Ball, which is really, really sick. The Combee, the Cherubi, the Cherrim, the Hawlucha, the Manphy, like almost everything can be found by Level Ball. Could maybe cut back on the Ultra Balls just a little bit. That's my theory there by cutting back on the Ultra Balls. We do have some Pokemon recovery, of course, in Super Rods. Got 2 Super Rod in here. Maybe going to need to recover some Vespiquen pieces, but probably going to be a little bit more useful to recover Cherims if those get chased down. Opponent goes after the Alakazam, the Manaphy, whatever. Me get some energy back in the deck because, like, once again, Vespiquen requiring 3 grass energy to attack with is a lot of energy that it requires. So getting even just grass energy back into the deck through the Super Rod might be pretty crucial, to be honest. And then the 1 Heavy Ball in here, like I mentioned before, I don't know if this is going to be necessary. With the Hawluchas in here, I don't even know how relevant Radiant Alakazam will be, but if Radiant Alakazam is a pretty big deal in this deck for this deck to function, to be able to spread our damage out precisely, to be able to get big knockouts or clean up knockouts, whatever it might be, it's probably pretty important to make sure we don't get it trapped in our prize cards, and the Heavy Ball makes that different, obviously. And then 2 Artisan in here as well. More Pokemon Search, also bumps Stadiums. I mean, Paths of the Peak is something we might want to be able to bump so we can consistently use the Radiant Alakazam. I actually don't know how important Stadiums are in this deck, to be honest. It's very possible we don't need Stadium cards in here and can maybe just cut the 2 Artisans and go no Stadiums. Maybe those become 2 Ultra Balls. Who knows? I could definitely see that being correct. But also, if you go up against like a Lost Box deck, do you really want them to have constant access to their Pokestop? Probably not. So even if we don't need to drastically, or it's not that big of a deal if we bump Paths of the Peak, might still want to take away our opponent's stadiums that they're able to use. Like Lost City, do I really want to deal with my opponent having Lost City constantly in play? That doesn't sound great. Doesn't sound like something I want to be having all my Pokemon going to the Lost Zone. So there's a couple stadiums in here for right now. But like I said, a lot of testing to be done. And then yeah, the 14 basic energy, triple basic grass on the Vespiquen to pull the attack off. That's a lot of energy. Gotta find them somehow. The other card that could theoretically be included into the deck is the Eldegoss. Such an Eldegoss that has 80 HP, so once again, Level Ball searchable, and it searches your deck once in your turn for 2 basic energy out of your deck. But the way I kind of broke down how our bench is probably gonna look, it's like 2 Vespiquens, 1 Cherrim, maybe a Cherrim and a Cherubi, so that's 1, 2, 3, a Hawlucha 4, the Radiant Alakazam 5, so that's 5 our bench Pokemon, bench space is being taken up. If we have Manaphy in play, that's 6. And if the Cleffa doesn't get KO, that's also 6. So I don't really feel like we have bench space for the Alakazam, but it might, or not the Alakazam, bench space for the Eldegoss, but it might make its way into this list as well. We might need a more consistent way of finding our energy than just hopefully drawing into them through our draw supporters for the turn. And that's the list. Let me know what you guys think. You think Vespiquen has a chance? I'm hoping it does. I'm excited to try the Vespiquen. It's been a while since we've had a pseudo-spread type deck in the format, and I think Vespiquen could be it. Pretty powerful attack on a 2-prize stage 1 Pokemon. Sounds like a good recipe for a powerful deck, but who knows? Maybe it's not going to be quite as good as I think it's going to be. I hope it is going to be. Only one way to tell. I'm going to have to test it when it drops, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.